Good morning, YouTube. So once again, I'm making that long drive from Abilene to Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. Got another vacation, this time for Christmas and New Year's, and heading back to see the family again in Ecuador. A repeat of the last vacation, only this time I get to go for quite a bit longer, and I should have time to go visit the farm, see how things have progressed out on the little farm in the Andes Mountains near Quito. And I also am going to take at least 5 days out on the coast. We're heading into the Esmeraldas province to a place I went before. I took you, can't remember whether I actually made a video about it. I think I might have just made a short, but there's a resort out there that I really like called Same, spelled like the word same, and it's one of my favorite spots on the coast now. I've only been there once, so we'll see on this return trip whether it's as nice this time as it was the last time. Most expats, most foreigners kind of stay away from the Esmeraldas province. It is a dangerous area in general, and one of the poorest parts of Ecuador. But this particular spot is super nice, and the ocean is warmer up there. It can actually get, even though it's Ecuador, it's right on the equator, the ocean can get cold in southern and even central Ecuador. You get up north, it's a different current. It's the equatorial current, and that stays a lot warmer. I looked at the weather reports, and it's looking like it's going to be, the air is going to be comfortably cool. We're talking in the 70s. So surprisingly cool for, on the beach, on the equator. I expect the ocean to actually be warmer than the air, which is always kind of nice. And it's going to be cloudy. But since I sunburn pretty easily, I prefer it when it's cloudy on the coast. I don't know if my wife and kids are going to be as excited about the weather we're going to have, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to not sweating my butt off and having the sunscreen I put on just wash off from my sweat. Looking forward to a trip to the coast where I'm actually going to be comfortable. And I'm excited. So here we go. Driving across Texas always surprises me. It is, it's greener. It's more beautiful than I pictured in my mind before I came to Texas. You know, I'm a West Coast guy. I grew up in Washington State, and Washington State is gorgeous, right? Beautiful mountains, ocean, very green, lots of variety in the terrain. It's hard to beat. It's hard to beat Washington for natural beauty. And I always imagine Texas as being this just godforsaken, ugly place of just flat desert, endless, farmland. But this part of Texas, going from like the edge of West Texas over to Dallas-Fort Worth, it's pretty. And I know from talking to other folks, it's not even the prettiest part. There are things I don't like about Texas, but I do like the natural beauty. More wooded, more green, little rolling hills. It's not boring. Interesting spots to get out and walk around and look at nature. I never thought of Texas as being a state of natural beauty, but it is. It's all right. I like it. All right, one flight down, one to go. I'm in El Salvador. This is a really good airport if you've got a very fast layover, if you don't have a lot of time to get between planes, because it's a really small airport. This is a terrible airport to have a long layover like I have right now. I've got 6 hours, and I did what I usually do on a long layover. I found a quiet spot to sleep. They woke me up and made me move. Found another quiet spot to sleep. They woke me up again and made me move. It's kind of an annoying airport if you're stuck here for a while. But I'm almost out of here. Another hour and a half. And then on to Quito. All right, Avianca, you redeemed yourself a bit on that one. That was a good flight. I had an entire row to myself on a red-eye flight, which means I got to just lay down and take a nap on the plane almost comfortably. It's a miracle, especially for an Avianca flight. And even my first flight, the one from Dallas to El Salvador, wasn't that bad either. So maybe it was just that one time that Avianca really sucked, and that normally it's at least adequate. Good for the price, I'd say. And now I'm back in Quito. I was, I think in row 9, up towards the front of the plane. So really quick getting off the plane, very smooth landing. Should fly through immigration here because I'm heading out of the plane so quickly. Probably have to wait for the bags for a while. It's like almost 3 in the morning, I think. I'm a little turned around with the time changes, but it is late. I'm gonna get through here so I can get a taxi and get home. Man, these bags are coming down rough. I see why shit gets broken. All right, so I've got a very busy schedule while I'm here. As I explained, I got in at about 3 o'clock in the morning. I took a $25 taxi into my apartment, our apartment in Quito, and got 4 hours sleep. Got up, went and looked at a house. So we're trying to buy an investment property. It's what is referred to as a casa rentera. And this is a house in a nice neighborhood in Quito that's got 6 little apartments for rent. And it's a good area. It's walking distance to La Carolina. It's in El Batan. I'm not going to show you video of the house just because I don't want to dox myself. It's hard to show it without showing the view, and some people will be able to figure out the location. I don't want to do that. But it's near Parque Metropolitano, which if you know the neighborhoods in Quito, you know that's a good spot. So gonna try to swing it, but it's a lot of house, a lot of money, and I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to make the deal work. Right now, later today, we're going out to my farm. I haven't seen the farm in a very long time. The last trip, I didn't have enough time to go out to the farm, so gonna go out to the farm and see the progress. Maybe get to go pick an avocado, because I think some of my avocados are ready now. I'm excited. All right, I'm on the farm. It's fogged in, so I can't see a whole lot. So I think tomorrow morning, I'll take you guys on a walk around and we'll look at what has happened, what's growing, what's not growing. This little guy is not growing at all. But these ones, which are the same plant, locally it's called portón, those are growing pretty good. This is it's a type of bean. It is a bean tree, like Jack and the Beanstalk. I've talked about it before, for those that remember. But that one I pointed out that there's actually 2 of them that are tiny. They're the same thing. They're portón, but some are growing and some are not. So right now I've got what is referred to as a suicide shower. This is a 40 amp, 208 volt shower head. The InstaHot is right in the shower. They're called suicide showers for a reason. It's real dangerous having the electrical right in the shower head above you, because if something goes wrong, yeah, you can imagine. So we've got a little project going on. Out here, we've got our new gas InstaHot and a little metal box to put it in, another little metal box to hold our gas tank. And we're gonna install that, or the maestro is gonna install that. I'm not doing anything. I'm not working while I'm on vacation, but we're gonna put it on this wall so that we'll have hot water that is not a suicide shower. Whenever you have a project in Ecuador and your maestro, your contractor, makes a list of the stuff you need, always expect it to be incomplete. You're going to go back and forth for things they forgot. Even the best maestros, it just seems to be something cultural here where it's never a complete list. So we just went to town. We came back without one thing. So we're going back for the one thing we forgot. Hopefully it's one thing. Gave the maestro instructions to message us while we're in town. So if that one thing turns into 2, 3, 4, 5 that he forgot, hopefully he'll message us before we drive all the way there and back again. But who knows? I guess while I'm waiting, my wife is doing something. While I'm waiting, I'll get out and look at the farm in the daylight a little more with you guys. Some things here are purely decorative, like these flowers. This looks like it needs a little care, a little more water. We're in a bit of a drought right now, but that's lemon balm. Lemon balm? Something lemony. This, one of my favorite plants, is cedron. Cedron is, we use it for tea, and it makes a tea that is a sedative. It is very relaxing. It'll put you to sleep. We're growing broccoli. Right now, we've got a lot of broccoli growing, not for to have broccoli, but to have broccoli seeds. We do a lot of broccoli sprouts, and it's hard to get the seeds for the sprouts here. I can get seeds that have been coated in fertilizers and pesticides and things like that for commercial production of broccoli, but we don't want that when we're growing sprouts that we're going to eat, 5 days after we put them in a jar with water. So we're trying to get our system down for producing our own seeds. It's hard work. We haven't really found a good system yet, and I think that what we really need to do is build a hydroponic tower where we can kind of have a little more control over the system. These are weeds. I'm standing right now where my old greenhouse was. The greenhouse was right here. It wasn't built right. The greenhouse fell down because the contractors that built it, I wasn't here at the time. I left my wife taking care of projects, and sometimes the contractors take advantage of her a little bit. And in this case, they built the structure out of untreated bamboo. And in a dry climate, that might have been okay. But out here where we get a lot of rain, untreated bamboo only lasted for about 1.5 years before the whole thing fell down. So we no longer have a greenhouse here. Annoying. But yeah, the farm is doing really good. Really good. I'm very impressed with the work that my neighbors have been doing on it. It's hard to find people that you can trust enough to do good work when you're gone. Look at that. You see a little, I think that is, I'm not sure if that is lemon or orange. You can tell by picking, that's orange. That's a Washington orange. I rambled and I lost my train of thought. It's hard to find people who will do good work even when you're not watching. So like when I leave and I'm gone from the farm for a long period of time, these guys I've got working now, the farm speaks for itself. They do good work even when I'm gone. That's rare. That's hard to find. I'm very happy with them. Very happy with how much things are growing here. I made a little YouTube short this morning, first thing, talking about the farm. Look at those plums. Yep. Just doing a quick walk around while I was waiting for my wife. She's now joining me on the walk around. I harvested some lettuce from that plant. Right now she's collecting some of the ricotta peppers. We grow more ricotta peppers than we can use, more than we need. And so she's giving some to the neighbors so that they don't go to waste. Eventually, I'd like to pickle the ricotta peppers.
Perfecto.
I'd like to make spicy pickled peppers and use these ricottas. in that way. This tree right here has beautiful flowers. Look at those flowers. I've not successfully gotten any fruit from it yet. It's grown a few, but something has happened. The windstorms we have or the heavy rains, the fruit have fallen off. It's some sort of fruit tree from Brazil. It grows in the highlands of Brazil. Here we've got a little bean patch. This is the area where I've got most of my citrus plants. On the other side, over by where my neighbor is weed whacking right now, I've got the avocados. That's mostly avocados over there. I want to add a few more avocado trees in there, and the portones that I was talking about earlier. Once I get some more growing, I want to intersperse some in there. And the reason I want to put portone over there is it's in the bean family, which means it's a nitrogen fixing plant, so it'll actually help fertilize the soil. I want to say this is a nectarine. Almost no leaves, but it sure is producing flowers. Gonna have a lot of fruit on that if the tree can support them. And this is a very happy cherry moya, which is also known as custard apple. They grow a fruit that looks like a dinosaur egg, and they are delicious. And they are also a very expensive fruit here in Ecuador. So yeah, the farm's looking pretty good. But I gotta go. I gotta run to town after I eat. After I eat one of these, I should wait till they're turning colors, but I actually kind of like them underripe when they're tart. They have a little more flavor. That's what is the fruit? Here they call it arbol de mora. I can't remember the name for that berry tree in English. I'm losing my English. But the variety we have, that's a little bit of a dud. They have a very boring tasting fruit. It's mostly for the birds. All right, good to poke around and look at the garden in the daylight here. I think that wraps it for this moment here. Off to the town. We are at the Ferreteria, the hardware store. This little town has 3 different ferreterias, which for a small town, it's got more than you would expect. Look around to see if there's anything I need beyond just the things we're buying for the project. I am like a kid in a candy store when I am in the hardware store. I get a little out of control just buying things I want but don't need. See, Tina. Grace. You set the...
Steel.
Yeah, it's the right time. It's the right type. It's 2-cycle. I just bought a bunch of lettuce, some parsley, I think they threw in 1 cabbage that I didn't really want or need for free, but 25 cents total. So I think these were like 2 or 3 cents a piece. Really good price at one of the little shops here in town. So it's not even worth taking the time to sprout seeds myself when I can get them that cheap. Good deal. I love this little town. This is Puliero. It's a town about an hour outside of Quito on a famous road called the Ruta Escondida. This is one of the closest towns to where my farm is. I used to live in this town while I was scouting out property and figuring out whether I wanted to buy a place in this part of the country. But it's just a beautiful little town. There's 1 main road through. Really good area for growing. Like just a good climate for growing things. So like people's gardens. They'll have all kinds of like citrus plants and everything you can imagine. Look at all those. I think those are mandarins growing right there. They've got avocados behind. This area calls itself the Garden Frutal of Ecuador, and it is the fruit garden of Ecuador. It's a wonderful area if you like gardening like I do. All right, back up on the farm. Just got back from town. Got all the supplies to the maestro. He's making a lot of racket drilling and working on the house, so doing a little more of a walk around of the farm. And while I walk around the farm and show you how it's looking, there's a couple things I wanted to talk about. I have this feeling, this just instinct, I guess, about the future in the United States. I don't have a real high opinion of what the future is going to look like there. I think we're heading for some economic hardship, and I think the future is a bit in doubt. That is one of the reasons why I moved out of the U.S. a long time ago, made my home base in Ecuador. And Ecuador may not be the right choice for everyone. It has its ups and downs. It's not the perfect spot. But for me, Ecuador's good. But as I get more established in Ecuador, I am trying to separate my income making capacity from the United States. Right now, when I need money, I either take a contract, take a job in the US, which has been the last couple jobs, or I take a contract with a US company that's working somewhere else overseas. So if I'm working on some military base overseas or a research station in Antarctica or something like that, it's always based on the US economy, on US companies. And that house I mentioned, the Casa Rentera that I'm looking at buying, that's part of my project for separating my income from the United States to keep my family safe, to protect our future. And this farm is another part of that. The farm is not an income producing project, but it is a food producing project. And my instincts tell me that food and water are the next gold and silver, that in the coming years, as climate change really impacts global food production and the world's population keeps growing and the amount of land that food can successfully be grown on keeps reducing because of superstorms and droughts and things like that, that having a little farm where I've got avocados growing and other fruit, and I can very successfully grow crops like beans and potatoes. It is a way to protect my family's future from an uncertain world. And so that's what I'm all about right now. That's what I got going on. Preparing for a very uncertain future by taking steps now while I still have a good job. Basically preparing for disaster before disaster hits, right? Rather than waiting until it's too late and then struggling with everyone else. So take a walk over here and look at the passion fruit. Like I said, I made a little video this morning, a little YouTube short where I looked at the passion fruit. But for those of you that haven't or aren't going to see the YouTube short and prefer a long form video, check out this. So this is giant passion fruit. The local name for it is badea. I've got a few of these giant passion fruit plants around the farm. I want to put more in. I love that fruit. It tastes like a melon. So the flesh of it tastes like a melon. The seeds have a pulp around them that tastes more of that acidic. Look at, those are insects mating. I thought it was one insect, but that's two butt to butt. And they're sitting on another kind of passion fruit. That's a grenadilla. That's a much sweeter passion fruit. Yeah, I absolutely love passion fruit. So I grow a lot of it. What's that? It's low in sugar. Oh, the badea is low in sugar. So in a previous video, I mentioned I'm now on the keto diet or keto diet. So a lot of my fruit is off the menu, but she says, I'll have to look up and see how true it is, but it says that passion fruit, specifically the badeas, the giant passion fruit, is a low sugar fruit. So that one might be one I can eat more like a vegetable than a fruit. Meanwhile, we have, I think, caterpillars infesting this tree. We need to get rid of. I don't know if it's just a weird type of spider, but I don't think so. I think it's a caterpillar nest. That's not macadamia.
Okay.
So it is, I forget the name of the fruit, but it's one that we have in the park in front of the house. The little ones that are very tart, and they're like, they're about this big. They're about this big.
The orange. It's orange.
Their color is orange, but they're not a citrus. They're not an orange. I got this from that hacienda that had the avocados.
Okay.
He just gave to me for free, a little one. So when I got it, it was maybe 3 inches tall. It was 6 inches. Yeah. So when I got it, it was this tiny little plant. It's grown very quickly, but we might need another one for it to produce fruit. I don't know. I don't know if that's a kind that will produce fruit by itself. We got some figs. So as I was saying, I feel like there's a lot of people that are on the same page right now. A lot of folks in the States that it's not, you don't need to be able to see the future to look at what's happening and have a good sense. Just you look at what's happening and know the patterns of history, and you know that we might be in for some really rough times there. So these are mountain papaya. The local name is Chihuacan. They're also called Chilean papayas. This is a papaya that will grow in cooler climates like we have here. So this farm is at 800 feet elevation and very close to the equator. That is, you can see I've got a jacket on. It's not a hot climate. It's very mild. So normal papaya won't grow here, but Lima? This is one of our citrus trees. Something called Lima. Lima, it looks like I don't know if you guys can you see that? So here's one. So Lima looks like a lemon, but with this nipple. They have a wonderful smell.
It's not too sweet.
They're not sweet at all. Like the juice, like if you cut it and you eat the fruit, it tastes like lemon scented water. It tastes like water that you put a few drops of lemon juice into. You don't use it, like you'll eat them like that just to refresh yourself, quench your thirst when you're out here working. But the real beauty of these is in the skin. People use the skin for flavoring desserts. I use it for when we had our little ice cream shop. That was one of the businesses that my wife used to run, actually in Puliero, in the town when we lived there. We had a little heladeria, a little ice cream shop. We'd make our own ice cream. She made some amazing ice cream, and one of the flavors was Lima, using the peel of the fruit. Oh, I almost lost my glasses. I lose at least a pair of glasses a month. Just drop them off my shirt. Can I have a piece?
Sure.
Let me just eat this. Oh. Refreshing. Very refreshing. So, there's the little house. That's my little house right here. I leveled out a spot here where I want to put a little barbecue. place. I want to build a little area with a roof, a floor, and walls that come halfway up, and a little barbecue spot right where I'm standing. This farm over here, so that little house you see, and I don't know, they've got maybe 50, I'm not sure the number, but they've got some avocado trees. They're a little older than my avocado trees. They're producing avocados really well. It's a nice little patch of land that they have that they've taken really good care of. They want to sell it. They want to sell this property. They were asking me to make maybe a video about the property and see if there are any folks in my audience that might be interested in contacting them and finding out how to buy the place. I talked to them, I want to say a year ago, I talked to them about it. So they had like 2 different options for how to sell the property, and one was just this little patch of land that's about the same size as my little farm here. It's maybe an acre. There's actually, that looks a little smaller. It might be just under an acre. But then they also own that land stretching up the hill. And they'll keep cattle up above on the hill, and they grow their avocados and some other plants down here and have their little house. And they were talking about either selling the whole thing together or separating. I heard them out a year ago when they talked to me about it. I thought their price was too high. So I'm happy anyone out there wants to get their contact info, shoot me a message, send me a comment, something like that, and I can put you in touch with them. I'm not a real estate agent. I don't want to be in the business of selling real estate, but I'm happy to connect folks together just to maybe help the community out, help my neighbors out, and maybe get some awesome new neighbors here. I can't remember I think these are, I want to say primrose. They're a type of rose, but I don't know.
You can make a splash with
A splash? What's a splash? A spray. You have lima on your lip. You still have lima on your lip. You got it. You got it. All right. We need to collect some more lettuce.
No?
When we return, yeah. When we return. All right, I think we're going to go walk up and look at that property they're trying to sell up there. Yeah, I'm not interested in helping them sell their land for too much money, but if in the year that's passed they've gotten a little more realistic about their price, I am happy to connect them to folks in my audience. This area, a lot of times expats, they have an idea of how much land should cost in Ecuador, and they lose sight of the fact that there are some very expensive parts of Ecuador. And if you are in an avocado growing region, because of the value of avocados commercially, that land tends to give people a little sticker shock, surprise people how expensive it is. And we are smack dab in an avocado growing region right here. So not only are we in an avocado growing region, but we are about an hour outside the capital and an hour from the international airport. And that's significant because if you're growing avocados and you're growing them for export, you may want to use air freight because they are such a valuable crop. And being pretty close to the airport facilitates that. Otherwise, you might truck them all the way to the coast and send them by boat if you pick avocados really green and then ripen them the way they do bananas. I think they use some sort of gas to force them to ripen. And you end up with avocados that are kind of boring and gross like you get in the US. So they do 2 crops. So you see the avocados all along the line there, and then a space, and then they've got corn planted in between. they still have quite a bit of space they could fill in. Hopefully you guys can hear me over the wind. The wind's picking up. Can make it annoying noises on the video from the wind. Sorry I don't have a microphone. More Lima. Mm-hmm. See, big, very healthy avocado trees. Oh, yeah. These are Forte avocados. Forte are my favorite kind. They're not the most popular commercially because their skin is a little thin and they produce kind of all at one moment rather than Haas that has a thick skin, which means they're easier to transport and produce a constant, slow, steady supply throughout the year. That one might be a Haas. I'm not sure. So, Forte avocados are creamier and oilier. They're fattier than Haas avocados. And I think they taste way better. But unless you live in an avocado growing region, you're unlikely to get them because they just don't transport to market that well. But yeah, they have a cute little house here. I can't remember how much they wanted for just this section. Like if I were buying this, if I didn't already own the neighboring place, or if I wasn't in the middle of making other big investments, I might try to buy this because I do want to expand my farm. Whew, out of breath. So I wouldn't buy the big patch up there, the hill that they keep cows on, because I just feel like that kind of land is sort of a dime a dozen. I'd buy their cute little well-designed house and the part with the avocados where they've put the time and the money into really caring for the soil. You can see it in how healthy the avocado trees are, and set up their irrigation system. They've invested a fair amount in making this little patch work here. So if I were going to buy this property, I would just try to buy what I consider to be the good part, the house and the field of avocado trees. And I would probably tell them, no, you can keep raising cattle up above. I feel like this hill up above with the cattle, A, it is really steep. B, because it's steep and because we get heavy rain here, it's got some erosion issues. You'd have a hard time converting that to other types of agriculture. I think the cattle have kind of exhausted the soil, just growing grass and eating it, So I feel like a lot of work would need to be put in to restore that soil. Whereas down here, they've already done the work. These are some healthy avocado trees. They've got a living fence. You see that I've got the same thing. The barbed wire is attached to these trees. It's a living fence. They grow that specific type of tree because it grows very fast, and you can just wrap the barbed wire or staple the barbed wire to it. Pretty cool system. The other neighbor over here has corn. That's what most people grow out here. That's the primary crop in my little neighborhood is corn. I'm not sure why they're so into corn, because we have a lot of years where the corn struggles. It rains too much or it doesn't rain enough. And you don't make a lot of money off corn. I think the reason they do it is because corn is fast, right? You plant it, you grow it, you collect it, you dry it, you get money that year. Whereas avocados, you have to have enough money to be patient, right? You got to have money to begin with to grow your avocado orchard. It's a big investment to get it to this point where it's producing, and not a lot of families out here have enough money to wait for it. I love the views from here. So You see that hill there, and then across there's a kind of a mountain on the other side. There's a big canyon in between. The Guayabamba River at the bottom of that canyon. Quito is on the other side. So like on the other side of the big mountain off in the distance, on the other side of that is the very north and the northern suburbs of Quito. Where are we walking to?
See the neighbors.
We're gonna go see the neighbors or just look at the house? Look at this avocado tree. Look at all the avocados on this. Look at this. Look at these. This is one of the reasons why farmland in this area can be a little expensive. I mean, just on a tiny piece of land, you can grow an incredibly productive, healthy, long-lived avocado tree. My wife is saying they've got a lot of chickens, so maybe the chickens fertilize the avocado tree a lot. That is very possible. So I think I'm gonna break up this video about my trip to Ecuador into 2 videos, because this one's getting a little long. So this will be the video of traveling here and visiting the farm. And the next video is gonna be the video about our Christmas celebration, and then driving to the coast and hanging out on the coast of Ecuador in Esmeraldas province, and then traveling back and eventually making my way back to Texas, back to work. So I think we'll leave this one off right here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you stick around for the next one. Peace out.